Hello, welcome back to the Watford Way. I'm James, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Watford versus Nottingham Forest at Vicarage Road, and what a game this is going to be, because it's not only Watford versus Nottingham Forest at Vicarage Road, it is also the return, of course, of James Garner and Glenn Murray, and obviously their Watford careers, albeit were short, they weren't very successful at all, and yeah, I'm sure they'll want to come back to Vicarage Road and prove a point. Obviously, James Garner has recently scored for Nottingham Forest. Glenn Murray has got off to a good start as well, scoring a few goals. So I'll definitely have a point to prove when coming back to Vicarage Road. And I have to say on them, actually, it was a shame that we didn't actually utilise them correctly. I think especially in Glenn Murray's case, I think he definitely could have offered us something different to our front line. Obviously, Andre Gray wasn't firing when Glenn Murray was here. Same with Deeney, and I just think that if we utilised Glenn Murray properly when he was here, he might have been a bit more successful than he was. But never mind. They are both at Nottingham Forest now, and they do come back to Vicarage Road on Saturday. It's an early kick-off as well, I believe. Another 12:30 kick-off. I'm not really a fan of the 12:30 kick-offs. I much prefer an evening kick-off or a 3 o'clock kick-off. But never mind. And yeah, let's get into the game. So, from a Watford perspective, look, I'm quite excited about the game. Obviously, I think that we lost to Bournemouth. That was a really bad loss for us. Actually, the fact that Brentford also won after that game as well. But we are level on points with Brentford now. We just beat Wickham thanks to 2 Andre Gray goals. I never thought I would say that. And actually, I think on Andre Gray, as I talk you through what my starting 11 would be, I think that Andre Gray should keep his place. I think that I know he's not performed up to standard throughout this season, but I think any player at any club, if you score 2 goals, you really have to be starting the following game to see if you can continue that form. So Andre Gray definitely starts for me, and I think this actually segues me into actually talking about the team now. So I'll quickly walk you through, what my starting 11 will be. So obviously Daniel Batman in goal. Ben Foster's still out injured, so that's not a problem for me. Daniel Batman not really done anything wrong. So yeah, Daniel Batman absolutely starts for me in goal. Now the back line for me is where we need to think about, and actually the midfield as well, because there is some injuries in the midfield. But I'll talk to you about the back line first. And my one criticism with Xisco is his lack of rotation. Now I think we need to rotate a bit. I think Wickham was the game we should have rotated him, but Xisco decided not to do that. So I think Nottingham Forest, we should rotate, at least a couple of players. And one player I would take out who's been performing excellently lately is Kiko Feminier. I think that Kiko looks really tired now down that right-hand side. He needs a game off. He definitely needs a game off. So I bring Jeremy Ngakia in for Kiko, and that's not a problem. Obviously, Jeremy Ngakia, isn't that good going forward, but defensively, I've got no problems with Jeremy Ngakia, so definitely he should start for me. Centre back partnership, I'd probably go with Sirielta and Ben Wilmot. Now that might be a little bit controversial, but I just think that Ben Wilmot needs to get a run of games, and he's not really had a run of games under Xisco Munoz, so that is something that I'd like to see. So Sirielta and Ben Wilmot as a centre-back partnership. Then at left-back, of course, Adam Messina. From what I've seen of Ashraf Lazar so far, I've not been blown away, put it that way. So Adam Messina, he's not performed great lately, but he's not done anything wrong. So Adam Messina in at left-back for me. Now midfield, obviously, I'm sure you've all seen Tom Cleverley is out for a little bit of time with some tendon damage in his knee. So obviously, I wish Tom Cleverley all the best in his recovery. But that is a real blow for Watford. Actually, we've got some key games coming up, especially in the running for promotion, haven't we? And they actually said he should be back after the March international break, so start of April time. So he's going to miss 3 or 4 games. Obviously, not against key opposition. We do have some big games coming up in the future against the likes of Norwich, Brentford and Swansea, I believe. So he's not going to miss them games, hopefully, but he is going to miss a couple of games before the international break. So I do wish Tom Cleverley, as with any player, all the best in his recovery. But on to the midfield now. We do have injuries there. We've got suspensions there. As I just said, Tom Cleverley's out. Nathaniel Chalobah is out. And Dan Gosling was out in the last game with an injury. But hopefully, fingers crossed, Dan Gosling is back for this game, and this is how I would set up in midfield. So I'd go with Daniel Gosling, Will Hughes, and Philip Zinkernagel. So that would be my midfield three, similar to what we played against Wycombe actually. Philip Zinkernagel was part of that midfield three, but obviously with the licence to go forward, and he would obviously be the more advanced of the three. I'd probably have Dan Gosling sitting in front of the back four, and then Will Hughes kind of as a box-to-box player, or vice versa actually. It doesn't really matter which one's a box-to-box player, but that's kind of how I would set up in the midfield. And now onto the front three actually, and very, very interesting. Because again, we do need to rest some players there. You think of Ismail Assar, Ken Sema. I've said that I've said that Andre Gray should be starting this game, even with Pedro coming back from his suspension. So Pedro would stay on the bench for me. Out on the left, usually Ken Sema's there. I'd actually go with Joseph Hungbo. It's a bit of a big call that I'm doing there, but I think Joseph Hungbo. We've all seen how happy he was in the dressing room after the game about getting his first championship appearance, his debut in the championship. So I think he's got something to prove. I think that from what we've seen of him so far, he looks pretty decent. So I'd go with Joseph Hungbo on the left. As I said earlier, Andre Gray up front, and I'm not quite sure what I want to do with the right hand side, because I really want to give Ismail Assar a rest. I really, really do. But I don't know who you put in there. I don't know whether you maybe you even play João Pedro on that right hand side and Andre Gray up front. I'm not quite sure. So I might have to say actually Ismail Assar to start the game. So my front three would be Sarr, Gray, Hungbo. But let me know if you agree with that in the comments below. It's quite a different front three to what I would usually do, but I just think that at some point we need to rest and rotate the squad a little bit and use some of the depth we've got in certain positions. So that's something we need to do. Now, in terms of a score prediction, I actually did a video yesterday talking about the signing of Carlos Sanchez, and I quickly touched on my score prediction in that. And I think it's going to be a close game. I think that Nottingham Forest will score. I think that Glenn Murray or James Garner might come back to haunt Watford. But I'm hoping it's going to be a comfortable game for us. We've seen how good our home record is. And I'm going to go with a 3-1 win to Watford. I think that Watford should continue on the good performance that we saw against Wycombe. And yeah, hopefully Andre Gray scores again as well, because I really want him to get into some good form towards the end of the season. So 3-1 to Watford. Come on the boys. Hopefully we can get our second win in a row against Nottingham Forest. And fingers crossed, James Garner and Glenn Murray do not come back to haunt us. So again, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all the support on this channel recently. We just hit 260 subscribers. I'm hoping to hit 300 subscribers as soon as possible. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. Obviously, leave a like on this video and also comment your score predictions. I'll be interested to know your thoughts on the game. So again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you with our match reaction after the game. Bye-bye.